Well, hello, friends. I hope everybody's doing fantastic. We're getting ready to get some heat here. The summer's coming. Those of you down here, you know it's hot. One's up north. I just come from Canada. I was up there last week. It's coming, folks. Don't worry. And just wanted to give a little shout out to my son Daniel. A lot of you folks will remember that, Daniel's the one that helped me when I first started recording these videos. He was behind the camera and we spent hours together listening to records, and now he's in the Navy and he's doing a fantastic job. Just like Chad Kasem here with these acoustic sounds, making the best he can make. That's what Daniel's doing. He's being the best he can be out there with them folks in the Navy. Okay, so what have we got here? This came in the mail. I got a message from Acoustic Sounds, a text message, and it said that they had delivered my record. And I know there's a bunch of you folks out there, subscribers, that have bought this record. And we have been waiting for it. And so here it is. This is what you're going to get. Look at the box it comes in. I mean, they're gonna do the finest that they can do. And so here's how it comes. Take the bubble wrap out of here. Pull the record out. And there it is. Okay. So look at this thing. It's got, of course, I cut the shrink. I left the shrink on it. You know how I am. It's got 3 hype stickers on it. Quality record. It's also got authorized for release by the recording label, officially licensed, and 100% all analog master tapes. And then, of course, they got the normal sticker that they put over here. They use only the master tape. They plate and press their own records at Quality Records. Meticulous test pressings, deluxe packaging, and limited edition. Out of print, it says. Less than 1,000 records per stamper. And they only had 5 stampers. They made 5,000 of these. They made 5,000 of these, and they made 1,500 of the mono. That's why the mono got sold out right away in pre-order. And now these are out of print because they've only made 5,000. They're probably still for sale, but I didn't bother to go to the website and look. Now, the record itself, the cover, it's an embossed type of a paper, and there's a video out there where these record covers are made by Strohan Printing in the City of Industry in Los Angeles, California. And when Chad was trying to come up with a cover for his UHQR records, now I don't remember the records, but this is going back to the 50s or the 60s. A company made some real high quality classical type records, and they made them like this. They come with this sleeve that pulls out like that. And all this stuff on here, this UHQR Analog Productions, and this all foil embossed, stamped on there. Really high quality stuff. Of course, you know that's Analog Productions. Now you've got this, and this was originally on the old ones was made out of wood. It's still a piece of wood, but they've got this vinyl that they wrap around here. This is all done by hand. This is all put on by hand, all this stuff. And then, of course, you've got what comes on the inside of it. Of course, you get a little insert for Analog Productions showing all the records they've got for sale. And then you've got the book. Of course, you're going to get a book in a record like this. There's the front picture. That's real nice. I like that. They've done a good job with that. Then they've got a picture on the back. Now, these photographs, they're suitable for framing. That's how nice they are. Then you've got the first page here. This is a nice photograph here as well. And then the next one is nice. I like this one too. But then, I mean, they start going downhill. This is the kind of stuff you're going to get now. It's not like the Beatle box where they got one after the other great photographs. They got a bunch of stuff in here. It's not that real high quality photograph stuff. So they've got some really, really nice stuff. And then they got some so-so stuff. But, you know, it's nice. It's nice to always get a nice book. And the book basically talks about Axis Bold as Love. It talks about how the record was made and where it was recorded. Now, let's talk about these two items, these two things right here. This is, of course, the Clarity Vinyl and the UHQR. Where do we get those things from? Well, UHQR, that comes from Mobile Fidelity. They made some UHQR records back in the 80s, and they were made in Japan. JVC made them. They made them in Japan, and there's only like 10 or 15 or something like that records, and they cost them. Back in the day in Japan, it cost $1 to make press a record in the 80s. It cost them $5 a record to make those UHQRs, and they charged $50 for those UHQRs. And of course, today they're worth hundreds of dollars if you can buy one, if not sometimes thousands of dollars. And so, what Chad does, he likes nostalgia. He likes names and trademarks and things that are well known by audiophiles, like himself, like us, record collectors. He wants to keep that name. So you know what he did? He went and got the name from JVC, from Mobile Fidelity. He said, "Listen, I want to make some records, and I want to use that name, and I want to get the copyright, the patent to it." This is the Patent Trademark Office, and he's got the patent now. He holds that name. And what else did he do? Of course, they bought Quality Records. Quality Records is the people that developed that Clarity Vinyl. And along with him purchasing Classic Records, he now owns the rights to Clarity Vinyl. Okay? So, the UHQR, the Ultra High Quality Record. Right. Here's another interesting thing. Let's look at this. The flat profile. You see the one here on the top is your traditional record, and from the spindle outwards it's tapered on both sides. But the flat profile, it's flat. From the spindle to the outside of the record, it's the same thickness. And that helps with your cantilever, keeping it so it doesn't have any deviation. It keeps it nice and straight, helps with tracking. Okay, so what's so special? What have they done with this record that makes it so great? Of course, the Clarity Vinyl now. Clarity Vinyl, they don't use any carbon black in that Clarity Vinyl. Well, let's look at the record. Okay, here's the record cover made by that Strohan in City of Industry. It's just like the T for the Tillerman or the other records that I've got from them, the Doors records. Okay, and here's the Clarity Vinyl. And if you remember, I've got Aqualung on that Clarity Vinyl. And we talked about that, but I'm going to talk about it again because it's worth mentioning. Here's the Clarity Vinyl. Now this stuff, this vinyl, it doesn't work in an automated press. It has to be done by hand, and that's exactly the way that they made these records. They're all handmade in a press that's all done by hand. There's a video on the Quality Records website, and it shows you how they made them. They're made by hand, just like the Aqualung was made by hand with that Clarity Vinyl. Okay, so now, what about the Clarity Vinyl? Now that formulation doesn't use any carbon black. And now as the needle traces through the carbon black, it actually makes noise. Now the carbon black helps it last longer. That's why they put it in there. But with today's, high-end cartridges and tone arms, this stuff has been reduced to a minimum. Not like the old days where you were just basically dragging a needle through. It was sad the way the records used to be traced by them old turntables that we all used to have. But nowadays, people that are buying this type of record, yeah, they got a pretty good turntable. It's not gonna ruin the record like they used to. So Peter Lederman of Soundsmith, he got some of these records, some of these test pressings, and using his equipment, he was able to determine that a record made with carbon black and a record made like this had a 2 dB quieter surface noise on it. And these records are actually quieter than the SACD format of this record. I found that really shocking, but that's what they're claiming in their literature. They're claiming, I'll repeat it again, this record is quieter than the SACD. Yeah. How about that, digital dudes? How about that stuff? That's pretty cool. So the record was mastered by Bernie Grundman Mastering. He always does such a fantastic job, and he's one of the few that can take a master tape, an analog master tape, and make an analog master of it. And so when they get that analog master, now they send it over to Quality Records, because Quality Records makes their own plates. They get the lacquer from Bernie, then they plate it, and they use an ultra fine nickel, ultra fine silver, nickel plated, ultra fine, and they use a low voltage DC, so it takes longer to plate, and they're using finer particles, which makes it quieter, gives you more detail. It's just the best way that you can make a record. And Chad's going to do everything. They've got their plating tanks are state of the art. They're the best that you can get, the best money can buy. That's what the whole point of these records are. Let's make it the best we can. I haven't listened to it yet, but I believe this is going to be one of the best, obviously the best sounding version of this record ever made. That's what they're claiming. It's the best sounding version ever made of this record. And it's probably one of the best, highest quality records ever made in the world. I mean, they have done the best they can. And with, it's 2018 now, 2019 when they pressed these, just last month. They're doing the best they can with the technology that they've got today. And they're quieter than the SACD. So that about sums it up, I guess. Well, there is another thing I wanted to talk about. Something I think is pretty cool, and something that is coming out, and they got a little insert for it. So look at here. Look at this now, folks. This is their next one. Aqualung. UHQR. And guess who's buying this? It's a stereo 45 RPM on 2 LPs on Clarity vinyl. Now I already have a Classic Records stereo 45 RPM 4 LP on Clarity vinyl. And of course it's really, really good. But I would like to see, how does this compare to that? Because that's the ultimate comparison. That's the two to compare. Which one's better? Because we know this is going to be great, and I have a feeling this one's going to be better. Because Classic Records was always had the nickname, kind of the motto was, it's a great record label that always, underwhelms you. Because you always seem to find something that they made that sounds better. Unless, of course, it's the Led Zeppelin fantastic. Now, somebody could come along one day and make a better sounding Led Zeppelin record, but they haven't done it yet. And so that about sums up the video of the Jimi Hendrix UHQR Axis Bold as Love. And I'm going to set up my stereo very soon. We've got all the furniture moved over. That's going to be going over to the other side. All the bedroom stuff, all the living room furniture, all that's moved over there. So, like I said, I was on vacation last week and this week. So maybe I can do something about getting my stereo set up. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again. Bye-bye.